A parent of one of your students described you as having infectious enthusiasm. As a teacher, do you think that's something you either have or you don't?
I think every teacher possesses a different personality, and that great teachers come in all kinds of packages with all kinds of personalities. And the teachers I remember most were so unique in how they delivered instruction and how they brought their personality into the classroom, that even when they were tough or stern or wild and crazy, they impacted me, and I remember them. So I don't think you necessarily have to be a big goofball or an actress or in any way, out of the ordinary. I think as long as you kind of lead with your personality and then bring impactful teaching into the classroom, you get remembered.
And what were some of the things you did that eventually led to you receiving the honor of Teacher of the Year?
I think it was a combination of effective teaching and being able to reach kids and give them very relevant, exciting learning opportunities that engage them on a variety of skill levels. But at the same time, I cared very much about my school and the community of teachers that were hard at work at my school. My own parents are teachers, so I have a deep and abiding love and respect for the just all teachers. And I am only as good as that community that I work in, and I'm very empowered by them. And so I reached out to them and asked if I could attend professional development given by them, if I could provide sessions or opportunities to learn for them. Could we start clubs together? Could we get a mural painted at my school? Could we start active lifestyle activities for kids? I just was very big in wrapping my arms around the whole school and taking everybody along to a bigger, better place. And I think it was that sense of community building and kind of increasing the capacity at our school, and enlivening it and enriching it for everybody there, from the custodians to the superintendent. That's what got me noticed and has allowed this tremendous opportunity to be the National Teacher of the Year happen for me.
Well, you sound like a teacher I would have liked to have had. Can you talk a little about your view on teacher evaluations?
Very much so, yes. As I was saying in my session earlier today, there are so many things that impact a child's life and adds value. And the number one reason I'm in the classroom is to get results academically with kids, and that's what every teacher feels the pressure to do. But at the same time, I have to make sure they're better people when they walk out the door. And so I'm doing a lot of character building. I'm doing a lot of life skills teaching in class. And I also have to show kids how what we're learning in my class is relevant to today's world, and where they could take those skills and put them to work in their own lives. And so it's all of those things that a good teacher does for a child that make them so important. And so if you're going to evaluate a teacher, you should use numeric data. You should use standardized assessments to get the first vital sign. But you should also look at, what's the classroom environment like? Are kids engaged with this teacher, and how do you know they're engaged? And you can ask the kids themselves and their parents. So some sort of stakeholder survey should also be another vital sign. You should look at, what type of a colleague is this? Is she easy to work with, or is he easy to work with? Does he spend time making sure that they are leading their profession by reaching out and doing professional development activities? How does the principal feel about this teacher? There should be so many measures upon which we judge American teachers, so that the result is a full and comprehensive view of what teachers bring to their profession.
Do you think we're close to adapting some sort of evaluation system like that?
I do. In many places in the country, I'm seeing a shift away from just strictly principal observation evaluations for teachers to multiple measures. That's kind of the buzzword, multiple measures. And lots of different rubrics and frameworks are getting adopted in various states. My concern is that the numeric data piece in many states is too high and is being used as sort of a trigger for determining continued employment or being fired. And the numbers are a little bit out of balance with what it is teachers actually have power to control. When you teach gifted kids and they come in at the top of their game, it's very, very likely, almost probable, that they will slip a little bit. And so if you just looked at my gifted kids on their test scores alone, you might see something that didn't make you very happy. But then if you looked at my third period, kids who are struggling English learners, I can move them a mile. So with one set of kids, I look like I'm not affected, but with another, I look like I'm incredibly effective. So you can't just look at those numbers because it's such a mixed bag. You need more information to make good decisions.
What were you doing when you found out that you had received Teacher of the Year? Tell me that story.
I was in Target. I think you have Targets out here in Texas. I was in Target buying cat food. And the checker was a high schooler, and he was in no big hurry to ring up the little cat foods, and it was just he was going so slow. And normally I never talk on my cell phone in public because I think it's really, really rude, and I teach my students never to do that. And so I thought, well, I saw that I have a phone message, and this is taking a while. Maybe I could just listen to the phone message while he finishes scanning. And it was a recording, and I knew it was from Washington, and that the basis of the message indicated that I had probably been picked. So I started to cry, which caused the checker to slow down even more. And he was like, "Are you okay? Do you want me to stop?" And I was like, "No, don't stop, it's okay." And he was just so mortified by like this woman breaking down in front of him. And I said, "Just speed up." And he sped up maybe a millimeter faster. But then I went out in the parking lot and called back and got the news. So I was in my car, just having come from Target. I have the best news in the whole world, and I just couldn't figure out who to call first. My parents, my husband, my son. I didn't know who to call, but it was very, very exciting. And then scary, because I thought, oh no, I'm responsible for representing every teacher in this country. I know I'm up to the task. I know I love teachers that much that I could, but it was a very humbling moment when you realize you've got the burden of the entire profession and representing it well on your shoulders. It's a big deal.
Who do you look up to?
Oh my gosh, there were people in my life that came along at just the right moment and that changed me completely. There was a woman named Karen Berkland who was my next door neighbor teacher partner. She taught social studies, I taught English, same sets of kids. And she was so merciful with kids. I mean, the twerpiest, most unruly terrorists of kids, the kids who would never bring their homework and who would get out of their seats. And she just led with such radical empathy and mercy that whereas I would get hysterical or hyper or have a meltdown, she never did. And she just said, "Rebecca, swat away distractions. Don't let anything stand in the way of delivering the best lesson to those kids. Power forward and through those days. Those kids need you to teach more than they need you to melt down about the pencil or the homework." And I just thought, wow, that's a vision of teaching that I need to become. And so there are so many more people I could tell you about, but those two, that sense of calm at the center, still a goofball, still wild, but a real centered core about what we need to do and how kids need me so badly to be my best every day. And then Karen in my ear saying, keep going, keep teaching. It's all about teaching. Get those kids that high quality learning because there's no one else in their life that's going to give it to them. It's on you, so go. I love those people.
Thank you for talking with us.